Hi everyone, today I will be reviewing the one take shot movie Bury the Devil for you all. So Bury the Devil is a horror film that takes a bold gamble by being shot entirely in one continuous take. This approach, although still relatively rare in mainstream cinema, always piques my interest because of the technical challenge it presents and the immersive experience it promises. I remember a few years back watching a single take horror movie starring Lin Shaye that I quite enjoyed. So I was curious to see how Bury the Devil would utilize this technique. Unfortunately, while I appreciate the ambition behind the choice, the execution fell flat for me, making it a difficult film to fully engage with. So the film centers around a nurse working overnight in an old, seemingly deserted house. She begins to suspect that something is off when a dementia patient under her care starts behaving oddly, talking to unseen entities, and exhibiting strange, unsettling behaviors. As the night wears on, she slowly realizes she's not alone in the house and that a demonic presence is seeping through the cracks, turning her routine shift into a terrifying and increasingly harrowing ordeal. The premise has potential: an isolated setting, a trapped protagonist, and supernatural horror lurking in the shadows. However, a major letdown for me is how the film uses its environment to build tension. The setting itself, an old and depopulated house, could have been a perfect ground for creating an atmosphere thick with shadows, flickering lights, and creepy darkness. Instead, the film largely feels underwhelming in this regard. There's a notable lack of effective lighting and shadow play, which could have heightened the sense of dread and claustrophobia. Instead, most scenes are painfully plain, with the house feeling more like a generic backdrop rather than a character that adds to the horror. So, this missed opportunity to utilize the environment leaves the film feeling flat and uninspired for me, and it made it difficult for me to stay immersed with the film. One aspect I do want to highlight positively is the technical achievement involved in shooting the entire film in one take. There's no small feat, and I have to applaud the filmmakers for their ambition and skill. Such a technique demands praise choreography, including timing and coordination, and it's clear they put a lot of effort into making it work. I believe any film shot in this manner deserves recognition for its daring approach. While Bury the Devil doesn't fully capitalize on the potential of this technique in terms of atmosphere or storytelling, I still respect the boldness of the decision to make this movie one continuous take. The lead actress does a commendable job considering the constraints of the film. Her portrayal of fear, confusion, and desperation feels genuine, especially given the physical and emotional demands of performing in a single continuous shot. That said, she does struggle a bit at times during the more intense and dramatic scenes. There's a noticeable lack of emotional depth and tension in those moments, I would say, which could have elevated the film significantly. Instead, many of the key scenes somewhat feel flat, and the overall sense of dread remains elusive. In a single take film, every moment must be compelling, and unfortunately, the script and direction don't quite manage to sustain that level of engagement for me. I'm going to say the film does pick up a little once more characters are introduced, bringing some new dynamics and a bit of narrative momentum. However, even with this added complexity, it doesn't quite succeed in delivering the scares or the suspense I was hoping for. The horror elements are sadly underdeveloped, and I found myself checking my watch more often than I'd like. The tension is inconsistent, and the film ultimately fails to create the immersive, terrifying experience it seems to aim for. Also, I did see the trailer to this movie and I found it very scary, but unfortunately, the movie's not scary at all. What's most disappointing is that Bury the Devil lacks I would say, the creepy atmosphere that is vital for effective horror. The film could have used shadows, darkness, and clever lighting more effectively to evoke fear and unease. Instead, it relies on basic visuals, and the overall tone remains more dull than, I would say, frightening. The lack of atmosphere prevents the audience, or I should say me rather, from truly feeling threatened or unnerved, which is a shame considering the promising premise. And as I said previously, on a positive note, I want to say that any movie shot in one take deserves recognition. Technical mastery involved is impressive, and I generally hope we see more films experimenting with this style. When executed well, it can produce some of the most intense and immersive horror experiences out there. Although Bury the Devil doesn't quite succeed, I appreciate the effort and intervention behind it. Also, it'll be interesting to see in the future if more movies will be made like this as well. So, in conclusion, I would give Bury the Devil a 2 stars out of 5. It's a film with a fascinating concept and admirable technical ambition, but it ultimately falls short in atmosphere, storytelling, and scares. The lead performance is mostly good, but struggles in key dramatic and intense moments, and the overall execution leaves much to be desired. Still, I respect the filmmaker's boldness and hope that one day we'll see more single take horror films that truly capitalize on the potential of this challenging technique and style of filmmaking. Sometimes, even when a movie doesn't work for me, I can still acknowledge its artistic risks and innovative spirit. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more upcoming horror movie reviews and normal movie reviews in the future. Cheers.